Welcome back to the podcast. Today, I want to talk about 5 money truths that your future self knows and has really integrated in their lives, and how you can really harness those energies no matter at which stage you are with your business. So maybe you feel like for some of the concepts, you already use them, implement them, but sometimes you drop the energy, you drop the momentum. So I want this to be a quick but to the point episode to give you some exercise to get back on track for each of these truths and each of these concepts. So let's start with truth number 1. Money comes from a place of alignment. And this is the foundation for everything. And when we talk about alignment, we don't just talk about what are you doing in your business that you're passionate about, but we also talk about how do you execute them, how do you make decisions, what marketing strategies are you using. And it's so important to be conscious of the fact that some of the things that you may do right now may not feel 100% aligned. And that maybe is one of the reasons why you can feel some stickiness or you can feel stuck in some areas. So, the journaling prompt I want you to do is ask yourself, if I was fully myself, what are the things that I would do differently in my business? And honestly, whenever I do this exercise, there are so many things that come up, new things sometimes, because obviously we change. So this exercise is really going to help you to see what is coming up and where do you feel like you still have a lot of conditioning on how you're supposed to do things versus how you actually would like to try and experiment. So this is a great exercise. Another affirmation I want to give you to really stay in this energy is, the more I am myself, the more success comes to me. I really believe in this affirmation, and I think repeating it to yourself can be really useful. Also, if you are into crystals or if it's something that you resonate with, you can use citrine or yellow calcite. And if it's not something that you resonate with at all, you can just leave it, and that's okay. So, moving on to truth number 2. The key is to be more often in the energy of attraction than action. Again, this is such a big realization to have, because although we need action to manifest our dreams, that's why I like to blend a lot of business and spirituality, because we need both to create our dreams. We need to be both in the energy of action and trust. But what is important to remember is, like, we're more conditioned to be in the energy of action than in the energy of attraction. It's something that is less natural, especially if you are a high achiever or if you have always felt that you needed to prove yourself to get the result. Also, if you think about your dream life, you don't want to be thinking of a life where whenever you rest or just go to a restaurant or just take a day off, your nervous system freaks out. It still happens to me, and I think there is so much conditioning on the energy of rest and being productive that when you visualize your goals, obviously you don't visualize an constant energy of hustle. I think if you resonate with all this content that I put here on Women Think Bigger, you truly believe in a vision where there's a lot of power but a lot of softness. So this money truth about attraction is also going to be your compass to know when you fall out of alignment with what feels good to you in terms of rest. The journal prompt you can use is to try to see In your daily life or in the last week, for example, how often are you in the energy of action versus attraction? So you can use, I don't know, percentages if that's helpful to see that you're maybe 80% action, 20% attraction. The point is just to try to be conscious of where are there maybe some imbalances in the way you manage the business. And the affirmation that I love to use is rest is my secret magnet for abundance. Also, if you resonate with crystals or if you like to use crystals, I often like to use rose quartz or amethyst because they're both stones that connects us with the energy of softness or intuition, and our inner guidance is the one that is going to tell us when to pull and when to just relax. If you don't resonate with that, that's okay. The third point I want to talk about is there is no such thing as time as we know it. Time is not linear. Such an important truth because I think when it comes to money and money goals and business goals, obviously our brain is always going to look for past patterns and use the past to do future projections. And if you feel right now that you are aligned with your business, you're resting, but you have anxiety around when are things going to take off or how long it's going to take you to reach one goal, this truth is so important to integrate again. You can do two things to just reconnect with that energy. The first one is I encourage you to listen to other stories, or if you're an entrepreneur, you can listen to their stories and just train your mind to the energy of change and possibilities. And I don't really recommend you to listen to, of course, if that inspires you, stories of big quantum leaps, that's great. But I think for me, sometimes it was a bit overwhelming for my brain to think that I could go from 0 to 100. So the point here is just to listen to some stories that make you feel like things can change. And there is no rule regarding how long a goal is going to take. You can be plateaued for a while and then just triple your income in 1 month. So just reminding yourself of that energy of change, of possibility is a great thing. The journal prompt that you can use for that is what are the limiting beliefs that I need to release to invite quantum leaps into my life? And I think it's such a powerful prompt because you'll just see that it's a lot of the conditioning that we have that to think that things cannot change quickly. So, what are the limiting beliefs that you need to release? And also, the affirmation that can help you is I am always connected to infinite possibilities. And I love that sentence because it always makes me feel sort of an energy of expansion and also peace. So, I'm always connected to infinite possibilities. And if you like crystals, I mentioned this in the previous points, you can use selenite to anchor that truth. And if it's not something that you resonate with, that's completely fine. 4 point. The real goal is the inner manifestation and the feeling. So I know that you want money goals. I have them too. We all have them. But the truth is that most of all, we want the emotional fulfillment that comes with it. We want the feelings that come with those manifestations. And so, right now, if you feel like in your business, it is hard for you to connect with those energies, with those feelings, you can take examples in your personal life that are going to help you to be more in this energy. So, for example, if you dream of freedom with your business, try to see in your personal life maybe if you can travel, if you're able to take time off, if you are a business owner, the freedom to make your own choices, or if you have a job, maybe the freedom that you have to propose new ideas. And for each energy that you want to feel, I recommend seeing how you can leverage them in your personal life and just try to indulge more in the feeling of that. And a great affirmation that you can use is, my portal to abundance is found within. My portal to abundance is found within. And a crystal that you can use to just stay in that energy is carnelian or red jasper. If you don't resonate with that, that's okay too. And the last truth that we need to remember is that our body is our biggest support for this expansion, and it needs to be recalibrated to the vision that we have. So, this is a constant exercise that we don't need to forget to do. You have a vision, and each time that vision changes, we need to recalibrate the body. So, based on what we said in the last point on the emotions and the feeling, the exercise I recommend is a little similar. Take the energies that you want to feel when you get to those business goals or money goals. And for each one, you're gonna close your eyes and try to do some breath work, meaning just breathing consciously in and out, trying to integrate the feeling more in the body. I recommend you to pick 3 to start off. And for me, those 3 were freedom, ease, and connection. Those are the 3 things that I really wanted to feel in my business. And I started breathing through them. And there's so many magical things that happen when you integrate the breath, because we need to create new neurological patterns for our brain. And I think it's the most common mistake that we all make as entrepreneurs, is to think that the body is just something that helps us to expand, but it's actually the foundation of everything. The nervous system is the foundation of everything. The subconscious mind is what is like driving 90% of our lives. So it's good to do the exercise number 4 and seeing like what are the feelings that we want to feel, but then we need to integrate them in the body. And the affirmation I love to use for that is, my body is my vessel for success. Such an important realization that I had to come back to, because I was always forgetting that whenever I was reaching a new goal, the moment I felt like my body wasn't calibrated for it, well, the next month the income just dropped back to the original one I was trying to manifest. And this happens to so many entrepreneurs. So your body is the foundation for expansion, and you need to think of recalibration every time you have a new goal. And if you like crystals, I love to use aquamarine for this energy of connection with the softness and just the fluidity in the body. If you don't resonate with that, completely fine. So we've talked about those 5 truths. Let me know which one you feel most on track with and which one is still hard for you to integrate, and maybe why. It would be interesting to share. I always like to share personal stories or share my experience, because it's easier always to connect. So I hope this episode brought some light on like how you can just get back on track. And I'm glad to have had your energy for today. So I wish you an amazing day or end of day. And remember, women think bigger. So do you now. And I hope to see you in another episode. Bye.